Libra, my dear soul, what if I told you that something breathtaking is heading your way and it's only 1 minute away from changing everything? Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, where your spirit didn't just stumble and it was summoned here by divine timing. You're not watching this by accident. This message is part of your soul's alignment, a whisper from the universe reaching you at the exact second your energy opened to receive it. Right now, there's a shift in motion, a cosmic pulse that's moving faster than logic, faster than words. You might have felt it this week. A strange stillness, a breath being held, as if something unseen is waiting to be revealed. That feeling? It's real. It's the energetic signature of a revelation, a breakthrough, a divine surprise that's about to drop into your life. And let me be clear, what's coming is beyond anything you've been preparing for. Maybe you've been praying quietly at night. Maybe you've been doing the work, showing up, healing, giving, hoping. Maybe you've sent out your resume, filed that claim, poured your heart into a message. And all you've heard back is silence. But that silence, Libra, was never rejection. It was divine orchestration. Because right now, someone or something with power is ready to make a decision that will impact your life profoundly. Whether it's an employer, a legal authority, a financial gatekeeper, or a higher energy you've called upon. That, yes, you've been waiting for is not only on the way, it's practically at your door. You're standing at the edge of a portal. And Libra, when it opens, what pours through won't just answer your questions, it will overflow your expectations. So take a breath with me. Slow down your mind, and listen with your spirit. The universe is not late. Your blessing has been right on time. You are not forgotten. In fact, you are so seen, so divinely guided, that even this video, right now, is part of the sacred unfolding. If your heart is stirring, if something inside you feels lit or even slightly shaken, that's your soul responding to alignment. Comment below right now with the first sacred number that appears in your mind. That number holds vibration. That number is your confirmation. And before we dive into what's coming, let me pause for something important. Let me take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every like, every comment, every subscription brings you closer to this soul-led family at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your support doesn't just help this channel grow, it helps carry these life-changing messages farther into the world. And trust me, dear Libra, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of today's reading, because what the universe is about to reveal to you is jaw-dropping, heart-opening, and powerfully prophetic. Now tell me, beautiful Libra, what force do you think brought you here today? What magnetic pull led you to click play, right at this moment? Because I believe it's the very same energy that's about to open a miraculous door just for you. Let's begin. When the rhythm of life begins to feel suspended, like you're standing in the space between what was and what will be, it's usually because something extraordinary is aligning itself behind the scenes. And for you, dear Libra, this is that moment. You've done the inner work. You've moved through trials not with loud declarations but often in quiet courage, holding on to hope when there were no visible signs, choosing peace even while the outcome remained uncertain. That kind of devotion does not go unnoticed. Not by the energy that governs divine timing. Not by the subtle shifts in the cosmic field. Not by life itself. In astrology, we look to planetary movement to understand cycles of closure and emergence. And right now, Libra, those planetary signatures show that someone with real decision-making power is ready to act. This may be a boss, a legal figure, a financial gatekeeper, or a person holding the final key to a process that has kept you in limbo. But their movement is not random, it's part of a much larger orchestration. One that has mirrored your spiritual persistence. This isn't just about a yes or no. It's about the release of something that has been spiritually pending. The appearance of the Nine of Cups in your reading is no coincidence. It's a card of fulfilled wishes, not the impulsive kind, but the ones rooted in soul longing. That desire you've been afraid to fully speak aloud. That hope you've quietly nourished. It's on its way to being answered. And not in the modest way your practicality might have prepared for. Not his is abundance that exceeds reason, solution that defies logic, timing that only divine energy could have arranged. You may have felt, up until this very week, like things were still not moving, that delays were just more disappointment in disguise. But I invite you to shift your lens. What if those pauses were, in fact, the last steps in perfect divine sequencing? What if that one missing piece, the final, yes, was always meant to fall into place, not when you wanted it, but when it would bless you the most? I often tell those who follow this path that universal timing doesn't always match earthly pacing. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it isn't already complete in the spiritual realm. It simply hasn't arrived in physical form. Yet. This is what I call the 1-minute moment. A spiritual tipping point. Not in literal time, but energetic proximity. You are within one energetic minute of breakthrough. And this is no small thing. This is what changes the arc of your entire year. And here's something you need to remember: life rewards the ones who walk in quiet faith. The kind of faith that isn't loud, performative, or perfect. The kind of faith that simply says, I'll keep showing up, even when I don't know how or when it's going to come together. That kind of faith, Libra, builds invisible bridges toward the very blessings you're about to meet. Let this part of your journey remind you that being still is not the same as being stuck. That delay is not denial. And that in God's timing, or however you choose to understand divine order, answers do come. Doors do open. Miracles do unfold. Often just after the moment we felt most tempted to give up. So don't let this moment pass without anchoring into it. Write down what you're claiming. Say it out loud. Comment it below if you feel led. Name it, bless it, and then watch what happens when heaven and earth conspire on your behalf. The clock is ticking, Libra, and this time, it's ticking in your favor. Sometimes in life, shifts don't happen one by one, they arrive in pairs, like twin waves crashing ashore together, changing the entire coastline of your reality. And Libra, what I'm seeing in your current energetic field is exactly that, a simultaneous opening in both your financial and emotional realms. While these may seem like separate parts of your life, in astrology and energy work, they often mirror each other. Abundance, whether material or emotional, flows best through aligned belief systems. And right now, you're aligning in ways you may not even be fully aware of. This kind of double unlocking doesn't happen randomly. It occurs when you've done the inner work to clear resistance in one area, and that shift triggers momentum in another. For you, dear Libra, your commitment to staying grounded even while your emotions have ebbed and flowed has cleared the space for unexpected rewards. The presence of the star, the Nine of Cups, and the sun in your energetic reading is breathtaking. Each one is a card of illumination, fulfillment, and joy. But together, they form a divine pattern, proof that a heartfelt wish is being answered not only on one front but in two deeply personal areas of your life. On the financial side, this could look like a long-awaited payment suddenly being approved, a new stream of income appearing where you didn't expect it, or a long-standing burden being lifted just when you needed relief most. And emotionally, you may feel someone returning into your orbit, someone whose absence created questions you were too proud or too hurt to ask. Yet this return, if it happens as shown, won't be clouded in confusion or uncertainty. Their presence will come with clarity, with action, with a message that confirms they haven't forgotten, and they never truly left your heart space. Energetically, you're currently surrounded by the influence of both water and fire signs. This is a powerful combination. Water represents emotion, memory, and intuition, while fire brings boldness, movement, and healing through action. When these elements combine around you, it often marks a season of renewal, where old wounds are healed not just by time, but by decisive, loving action. This energy is swirling around you now, offering warmth where there's been silence, and motion where there's been stagnation. Sometimes people assume blessings have to come through effort alone. But often, what shifts things most powerfully is your capacity to receive, to allow, to stay open, even when you're tired. That's what unlocks these mirrored transformations. And I want to remind you of something I've seen again and again through clients, personal experience, and even the most mundane corners of daily life. When you show up with quiet faith and take small actions rooted in trust, life responds with favor in unexpected places. Whether it's a surprise deposit, an unexpected text, or an opportunity that lands in your lap, it's all connected. This might be a moment to revisit a journal entry you forgot you wrote. A prayer whispered months ago in the middle of a restless night. Maybe it was a letter you never sent, a decision you made in silence, a promise to yourself that you'd stop settling. Those small, unseen moments have ripple effects. And this right here, right now might be when those ripples return to shore. If it's been a long winter in your heart, this moment offers warmth. If you've been financially uncertain, clarity and flow are making their way toward you. It won't always look exactly as you imagined, but it will feel unmistakably right when it arrives. So pause, breathe, and lean in. This isn't just a good week. It's a turning point that could change the atmosphere of your entire season. Let yourself believe that. Let yourself expect it. Because it's coming. Sometimes, the most powerful transformation begins not with a grand event, but with a single, conscious choice. After the cosmic signs have spoken and after the divine confirmation whispers through the cards or stars, what truly shifts your timeline is your response. Libra, you've come this far with grace. You've been absorbing the energy, recognizing the signals, and feeling the buildup in your chest. Now, the question is, will you meet the moment? Because no matter how big the promise, it will remain only a possibility unless you open the door from within. When I say this is not a time for self-doubt, I don't mean you need to be fearless. I mean it's time to stop playing small with what you already know deep down you're meant to experience. Think of it like this: life has been knocking. But knocks alone don't open doors. It's the hand on the doorknob that sets it in motion. This is the chapter where you step forward, not waiting for proof but trusting that your energy is already calling the future toward you. Action, no matter how simple, is what turns energy into outcome. You don't have to perform for the universe. You don't need a dramatic gesture. You just need one honest movement that says, "I'm ready." And that movement can be quiet. It can be writing down what you want to receive this week and placing it where you can see it. It can be checking your email with respect instead of fear. It can be opening your heart again, even if you've been hurt before. These acts are sacred because they are rooted in intentional belief, and belief is the engine of manifestation. One practice I always recommend, especially for those of you whose minds are busy and hearts are guarded, is to take 3 minutes each morning this week to declare your desires out loud. Not in desperation, but in certainty. Claim what is already unfolding for you. Say it with the quiet power of someone who knows the seed has already been planted and is now simply waiting to bloom. And if you want to ground this energy even further, take a small action each day that supports the thing you're calling in. Want love? Reach out with softness. Want money? Organize your space like it's already flowing in. Want clarity? Clear out one thing that's creating noise. Tiny aligned actions hold immense frequency. I know that in the pace of our daily lives, it's easy to forget that these moments of reflection and gentle action matter. But in truth, they are often the only things that do. You don't need more noise, more speed, or more pressure. What you need is presence. And presence is where real shifts begin. Because when you meet life where you are fully awake, fully honest, you allow it to meet you back, sometimes with more generosity than you ever imagined. As a reminder, this week's guiding frequency is sapphire blue. This isn't just a color. It's a vibration. It represents clarity, intuitive communication, and the quiet certainty that comes from aligning with your inner truth. Let it be your reminder to trust not only the message you've received, but the one you are now ready to send out into the world through your actions. So as you move forward from here, don't wait to feel perfectly confident. Don't wait for everything to be in place. Start with one thing. One intention. One action. And let that be your way of saying, I trust that what's meant for me is already on its way and I'm no longer afraid to meet it. There are moments when we hear something that doesn't just inspire you, it stirs something ancient within, something that feels both familiar and mysterious. In the energy you're moving through now, Libra, this isn't just about prediction. It's about resonance. About alignment. And sometimes, the most transformative confirmation doesn't come from the stars or the cards, it comes from hearing a real story, grounded in someone else's truth, that echoes your own journey. That's why I want to share something with you. Not as proof, but as possibility. A young woman once messaged me after a reading just like this one. She had been at her lowest point, out of work, out of direction, and convinced that whatever she once believed about timing or destiny had failed her. And yet, something made her click on the video. She watched silently, skeptically, but when I invited viewers to write, "I am ready for my miracle," in the comments, she did. Not because she fully believed, but because something in her wanted to believe again. 2 days later, an interview invitation landed in her inbox zone she didn't even remember applying for. She showed up for it. She got the job. And she wrote to tell me not just about the employment, but about the internal shift. She had dared to hope again. You see, what matters most isn't whether a story ends in a miracle. It's whether we allow the miracle to start. Not all blessings are immediate. Not all timing is dramatic. But all of them begin with openness. And I think that's the piece we often miss. We look for signs and symbols, but sometimes the most sacred signal is the quiet yes we say to life before the outcome has even arrived. I've seen this pattern repeat across many lives. People who let go of their timelines but held tight to their belief. People who didn't wait for external approval to trust their internal guidance. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's energetic congruence. When your intention and your vibration meet, reality catches up. And when you act like something beautiful is on its way, life has no choice but to mirror that frequency back to you. This isn't about being positive all the time. You're human. Doubt will visit. Fear will try to speak louder. But if you can let your faith speak just a little bit louder, even for a moment, that's where the doorway begins to open. That's when momentum starts to build. That's when alignment begins to click into place. There are people all around you, maybe even you, who are standing in the in-between. Not where they were, not yet where they want to be. And it's in that in-between space where stories like these matter. They remind us that just because something looks delayed, doesn't mean it's denied. Just because you can't see the path, doesn't mean it's not forming beneath your feet with every brave step you take. I don't share these stories to sell you hope. I share them because hope has already been planted in you, and sometimes it just needs to be watered by someone else's truth. If you're feeling a pull in your heart right now, that's not coincidence. That's alignment. That's readiness. That's energy preparing to shift in your favor. So Libra, the question becomes, are you willing to believe that your story could unfold just as beautifully? Not as a copy, but as your own version of grace, arriving when you need it most. If your answer is yes, say it out loud. Write it down. Declare it where others can witness you holding space for yourself. Because miracles don't begin in the sky. They begin in the moment you decide you're ready to receive. Even in the most spiritually aligned moments, it's easy to forget that you were never meant to do this journey alone. Growth, healing, and calling in the life you deserve are deeply personal paths, but they were never designed to be solitary ones. And Libra, if you've made it to this part of the reading, then I know you've already felt that subtle pull, that reminder that there's something greater than you gently walking beside you, even when things feel quiet. Especially when they feel quiet. In astrology, your sign is ruled by Venus, the planet of harmony, connection, and reciprocity. This means you thrive when energy is exchanged, not hoarded. You expand when you're seen, heard, and supported in your truth. That's why connection isn't just a spiritual bonus, it's your sacred fuel. But often, when we're in a place of waiting, or navigating uncertainty, the first instinct is to pull away, to retreat, to try and figure it out on our own. And while solitude can serve its purpose, isolation rarely brings clarity. It's in shared reflection, in brave vulnerability, that light is most easily found. The truth is, holding hope on your own can be heavy. But when that hope is shared, it becomes a current. And when a community holds space together, whether in prayer, intention, or simple presence, the weight lifts, and things start to move. That's the intention behind the space we've created here. This isn't just a reading. It's not just a message. It's a meeting place for souls who are walking through transition, through breakthrough, through becoming. I've seen again and again how even the smallest expressions of faith typed into a comment, whispered to the screen, written in a quiet notebook have created ripples that return in surprising, often beautiful ways. It's not about the words being perfect. It's about you being willing to speak it all. Because the moment you affirm what you desire is the moment you open your energy field to receive it more clearly. You're allowed to ask. You're allowed to hope. And most importantly, you're allowed to lean into a community that understands what it means to grow through both light and shadow. So if your heart feels called, take a moment now to declare what you're holding space for. Whether it's peace, healing, financial relief, love, clarity, or simply a sign that you're on the right path, write it down. Let yourself name it. Give your desire permission to breathe. And if you've been carrying your faith silently, I want to remind you that shared belief multiplies impact. Your courage gives someone else permission to stand in theirs. Your vulnerability creates a door for another to walk through. We rise together, always. And when you remember that, even the hardest days feel a little softer. This community Zodiac Whisper Tarot isn't just a channel. It's a field of light, woven from every moment you've shown up here. Every time you've liked, commented, reflected, or simply listened with an open heart, you've been part of something larger than you. You've helped build a sanctuary where divine timing, practical wisdom, and soulful support meet. So let this be your reminder, you don't have to hold it all by yourself. You don't have to figure it all out alone. Whether you're at the peak of a breakthrough or in the quiet valley of waiting, you're still surrounded. Supported. Held. Not by noise, not by pressure, but by quiet, intentional presence. And together, we will continue to walk toward the light. One sacred step at a time. Libra, if you've made it here, I want you to pause for just a moment, not to rush toward a conclusion, but to truly let everything you've just heard settle deep into your energy. This wasn't just a message. It was a mirror. A sacred reflection of what your spirit has quietly known for some time now, that something big is not just coming, it's already here, waiting on the other side of a single brave decision. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are a co-creator with the universe, and every thought, every intention, every tiny act of faith you've taken until now has been part of the calling that brought this message to your screen. The question is no longer if it will happen, but whether you'll be open enough, ready enough, bold enough to receive it when it arrives. So I ask you, Libra, what would it look like if you truly believed your miracle is only 1 minute away? How would you walk through your day differently? How would you speak to yourself? How would you prepare your life not in fear, but in joyful expectation? This is not the time to shrink. This is not the moment to tell yourself you'll start believing tomorrow. This is the moment to lean in. To trust that you were guided here for a reason. To understand that what you desire is also seeking you. All you need to do is open the door. And sometimes that door is symbolic. It's writing down your intention. It's letting go of the story that you're not ready. It's taking a small, quiet action that aligns with what your heart is already calling in. If you're waiting for love, could today be the day you choose to love yourself first? If you're hoping for money, could you treat what you already have with gratitude? If you're longing for peace, could you release even a single thought that tells you chaos is all you've ever known? You don't have to leap. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to move in the direction of belief, one breath, one decision at a time. And if this message touched something inside you, don't keep that energy closed in. Share it. Amplify it. Anchor it into reality by writing it into the space we're creating together. Comment below and say, "I'm ready for my destined breakthrough." Let the universe hear you. Let your soul feel the echo. Let this be the moment where things begin to shift, not just around you, but within you. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for walking this path with me here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your presence, your light, your willingness to show up, it matters more than you know. Every like you leave, every word you share, every time you subscribe. It builds a bridge for others to find their own light too. And please, carry this reminder with you: you don't need to be perfect. You don't need all the answers. You just need to believe that the door will open and have the courage to turn the handle when it does. Now tell me, Libra, will you open it?